Comrades, welcome to the Quamfy Show, episode 21. Today we're going FUD busting. Mr. Scan, almost said Scamlin. Mr. Scanlin has made a video, had some feedback on Quant. We're gonna have a look at that. Gonna try and debunk some of his statements. There's a new update, QRC-20 mainnet, XDC mainnet. It's update 229. We're gonna have a stab at that, and if everything goes according to plan, we're gonna have a guest coming in to help us navigate through all the technical stuff, because that is obviously not Tim and my forte. It's not our forte. Also there was something else. Yes. Latin America and the Caribbean, LACChain, they have made another statement regarding their plans. Gonna have a look at that. And Quant was in the Sunday Times last week. It's a paid article, so the question when marketing is kind of answered in that way. We're gonna have a look at that as well. So if you want to jump straight to either of these topics, you can look down in the description. You can find timestamps if you're on YouTube, and you can navigate through there. Make sure that if you have any questions or any remarks, leave them in the comments, or if you are on podcast, do not hesitate to put your card to the side and then just send us a message in Telegram. I thought I'd just throw it out there. We love to have you here. And Tim,
Yeah.
how's life?
Like last week? No, not really like last week. Last week was hot and sweaty. Now it's rainy outside. No, it's fine. It's just another week for me. What a weird comparison. No, I mean, last week I was sweating. I was not feeling well. This week I'm okay, physically at least. Another week, some more cool stuff coming our way. So in terms of feeling about my investment, well, great. Personal life, everything is okay. Looking forward to the summer. Looking forward to some holidays. So that's going to be great. That's going to be lovely. And hopefully we will see some action again, I guess. Because otherwise life is pretty boring and cool. I'm saying a lot of stuff at the same time, right? I feel I'm confused. It's really busy.
Everybody's confused now.
Yeah, well, no. The point I'm trying to make is I'm just really busy with all kinds of stuff. So then when you ask the question how I'm personally doing, I really have no clue because I'm just running, doing stuff. And that's great. I enjoy it. I'm a workaholic. So it's cool.
Nice.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. I have currently 3 projects that I'm working on, including this one. One other project is going to become huge, most likely. So that's taking a lot of my time. Retirement is now just about 6 months in, and I'm already busier than I was when I was still working, which was to be expected. I'm not a workaholic per se, but I need to keep myself busy, entertained, and
Yeah, exactly.
need to keep challenging myself. So that's going well. Not enough hours in the day currently with the child. I have a 5-month-old baby. My wife actually still works, wage slave in a way. So she has mandatory hours to fill, office hours, meaning that I'm running the household for the large part. It's pretty time consuming and interesting to keep everything going while also doing things for myself, like going to the gym and walking the dog and all those things. But that's just that will all level out eventually. So yeah, everything's great. Everything is exciting. I think crypto is really exciting right now. I don't give a fuck if it's a bear market or not. I don't give a shit about all the FUD on the stable coins. Tim asked, are we going to talk about USDC? There's some new FUD going on. I don't care. I don't give a shit. No, just no. Quant is doing very well, even though the price is shit. That's simply because Bitcoin is shit, and the people that own Bitcoin are manipulative cunts So now I'm absolutely positively sure that we got demonetized. I went for that, to be honest. It's no, it's all the manipulation and the stuff that's going on in the market. I don't know. Don't feel like worrying about it too much. We have zero control over it. We're at the mercy of what is going on. And obviously, it's more than just manipulation with your macro environment and all. But yeah, Quamfy show. By the way, our designer is has hit the ground running, as they say.
Yeah.
We spoke with him last week, this week.
This week,
Yeah,
a couple of days ago.
yeah, and we made plans. He had some really good suggestions, and
Yeah. He's moving faster than we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's usually the other way around, but this time our designers thinking harder, working harder than we do ourselves, which is interesting, really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, he seems really, really motivated, and expect an overhaul. Platforms on all the platforms, on all the places where we have banners, images, avatars. It's going to be probably going to be pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I'm just zoning out right now. I just drew a blank. That was amazing. That hasn't happened in a long time.
Oh,
That's
nice.
what happens when you haven't. But I haven't used my brain this much for months in a single day with so many topics. It's pretty cool. Okay.
That's how I have been feeling lately a lot during the episodes. You can focus on stuff, and I hear so many things on a day, but that's fine. Anyway, so for ourselves, everything's going great with the show, with the projects that we're doing, and expect a lot of cool stuff from us. We are definitely on track again. We were obviously present here all the time as podcasts, but we're also doing all these other platforms, and
yeah,
we will
Quant
reboot
Updates
everything.
got a reboot as well. Quant Updates was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
You're also going to see a crossover in styles between Quant Updates. Maybe that's a little tip of the veil.
Yeah,
for the people that lasted
just,
already this long.
we have a platform on multiple. No, we have a stage in multiple platforms. That was what I was trying to say. Anyways, you are not here to hear us ramble about ourselves. You're here for QNT. Let's start with LACChain.
But we do need to feed our own narcissism, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I'm looking at myself all the time. I'm not even looking at what you're just trying to share.
What we have here is the Quant Network website under the use cases. It reads Transforming Cross-Border Payments in Latin America by Rebecca Hackworth. Article starts, Quant provides blockchain interoperability solutions to LACChain, a pan-regional blockchain initiative in Latin America and the Caribbean that fosters financial inclusion, sustainability, and creates new efficiencies through digitization. Most of this information you guys know. It's 12 countries. It's a consortium of Latin American and Caribbean participants, private companies, universities, and governments. LACChain's governance model respects the sovereignty of individual countries. Architecture is public permissioned, which is quite interesting. Means that everybody can join, but you need to perform some sort of KYC to use it, and that makes it all super secure, but also super accessible. I believe somebody made the comparison with Apple. Anybody can buy an iPhone, but you need the iPhone keys to join the iPhone network thing and the iTunes store, etc. Some analogy like that. And same as with LACChain. So that's pretty interesting. LACChain started in 2021 by providing interoperability solutions. And Gilbert says, through our Overledger gateway, we enable participants to connect their private, public, and permissioned blockchains to LACChain networks and DLTs that were once siloed, and they can now interact. This is also not news. What is interesting, we also addressed this in the Dutch Quamfy show, the following things. Stablecoin, programmable currency that can be fiat backed for interbank payments and reconciliation with ATM networks to create systemic efficiencies. Remittance solutions using stablecoins to instantly move money across borders. This can
Yeah.
help itinerant workers send money to their home countries cheaper and faster. And then you got the wholesale stablecoin and account management functionality for banks, credit unions, and other financial institutions to set up consumer or business bank accounts. Additionally, institutions can conduct anti-money laundering and know your customer checks at primary and secondary account owners. They can also establish batch payments, account freezing, and whitelisting, and initiate complex payment workflows, including escrow functionality and 4 eyes or 6 eyes approvals. What I noticed when we discussed this in Dutch is that this coincides with the QRC-20 tier system. There were 4 tiers, if you can remember from previous episodes.
Definitely.
And especially the third case is, to me, a mashup of the tier 3 and tier 4 for the QRC-20. That's all programmable and stuff. And it is pretty interesting that this was being published on June 27th, and that we now have mainnet QRC-20, meaning previously we only had tier 1 and tier 2, and they were they mainnet? I think they were mainnet, and 3 and 4 were not on testnet yet, because we were waiting for testnet 3 and 4. But now we got the entire thing on mainnet, meaning that this is all a reality now, which is pretty cool. And we're going to talk about that later in the show.
Wait a second, indeed. Yeah. I'm finally making that connection between this post here and the news of today.
Yeah.
It's all aligning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's.
Yeah.
I'm making a note for myself. Now you have a look behind the scenes if you're on YouTube. LACChain QRC-20 link.
Trust me, you don't want to see the behind the scenes. You won't.
All the magic is gone now. All the magic is gone. Okay, so the impact of Quant works with LACChain. The technological impact of DLTs has been profound. As of June 2021, so that's a year from now, LACChain reports that 1.6 million people have directly benefited from its services. That does not mean that 1.6 million have literally used their services, but have benefited from the service. Still, 1.6 million people in a non-crypto project. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and they continue the ability to leapfrog legacy technology using DLTs has been achieved benefit. Yeah, we spoke about this. They do not have the infrastructure that we have. Example, I don't know, Swift, Fiber, whatever. So they skipped that iteration and they just went straight from analog to DLT thanks to mobile phones. That's what it's meant with leapfrogging. In Northern Europe, for example, monetary transactions are largely cashless. There, consumers pay using digitized bank cards and wallets such as Apple Pay, Google Pay, and PayPal. Other regions with less access to these services can use DLTs and stablecoins that run on this technology to open new possibilities for payments. And with these services, they obviously mean LACChain and what Quant provides. Moving to blockchain-based payment systems and using networks like LACChain can be vastly cheaper and more efficient than re-engineering old payment infrastructure, says Gilbert. Much progress has been made already. It's been more than a year since we started an ambitious line of work with Quant to enable a solution for tokenized money on LACChain, says Marcos Allende Lopez, LACChain technical leader. Quote, as a committed partner, they've brought exceptional expertise and technical proficiency to the project, which is amazing. And then they continue, as if connecting 12 countries is not enough, Quant and LACChain have a larger vision to connect to other regional DLT ecosystems in America, Europe, Asia, and Africa. We're beginning to see regional trade networks already, Gilbert adds, but Quant wants to see a time when all these closed loop ecosystems are connected in one big global trading network. Blockchain technology is still nascent. As more companies, institutions, and government embrace it, its potential can be fully released.
Realized.
So, talking about connecting continents again, Gilbert wrote about connecting continents in Telegram, where he wrote something like, "We are here to connect EPSI, BSN, and blah 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 to the world, whatever." And EPSI is the European Blockchain Initiative, and BSN is the blockchain network of China.
Yeah.
Those names were dropped in Telegram a year ago, maybe even longer.
Yeah,
And
I think it's old stuff, right? And this is
it
an ambition
is.
they have been vocal about since the beginning, and they keep stating it.
Yeah, I mean it was old, but it was always in the cards. And the same was with MLT, multi-ledger tokens. He hinted at that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Sneakily, also a long time ago. So he keeps doing stuff like that, and he keeps well, obviously this is still on the drawing board, but the plans are there. And what is also interesting is that we usually talk about DLT, distributed ledger technology, and now they're already talking about DLNs, distributed ledger networks, LACChain being an example, EPSI being an example, and connecting those networks amongst each other. And that is when we end up at SAT, I think, to a degree, and obviously OVN, so the Secure Asset Transfer Protocol, formerly known as ODAP, and Overledger network, obviously with remote connector gateways, API gateways, are the way that those connections will be made. And are we going to address that a little later on? I'm not sure.
What did you want to address?
The API gateway. That's what I just read before we went on the show. No, scratch that. Somebody from MasterCard said that APIs should be the way to go, but APIs are much broader than just Quant.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, we addressed that last week in last week's episode. He had the meme with API gateways everywhere, and you see Woody from Toy Story and posted that on Twitter. Never mind. Last week, long time ago in crypto. Okay, enough about API gateways, LACChain. We're moving to some marketing, because people always complain about marketing, and actually Quant does marketing. It's just doing it a bit different than your average crypto company.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Yeah, so what you see here is distributed in the Sunday Times, published in association with Money 2020, Innovate/Finance. And this is an article by, I can't see, but one of these was by KPMG. We got a Q&A here going on. Let's see, and here we have a Quant article. And the article's title is, "Are your assets fit for the digital age?" Are we going to go through the entire article? I'm going to do it. It's only in English now.
Good.
Yeah, last episode I went through it and translated it into Dutch. My brain nearly melted, and so did my throat. But here we go. Are your assets fit for the digital age? The digitization of goods and assets will be a once-in-a-generation evolution in finance with transformational impacts. But first, companies must overcome challenges of interoperability. For most people who are aware of blockchain, it is viewed as the technology behind Bitcoin, just one of many digital currencies traded by consumers, and increasingly as an asset class finding its way into fund managers' portfolios. I'm even choking in English. Love those sentences. Or perhaps they know about NFTs, the digital pieces of art, which are commanding price tags in the millions. Though blockchain is a complex technology, the premise is simple, fusing the real and virtual world to create digital assets or tokens through a process of tokenization. And while cryptocurrencies and NFTs steal most of the headlines, innovative companies are quietly utilizing tokenization to reimagine finance as we know it. Quote, what we're seeing today is the result of the push 30 years ago into electronic finance and payments. Now we're moving into the next generation, which is digital, says Gilbert Verdian, CEO and founder of Quant, which unlocks the power of blockchain through interoperable ecosystems and real world solutions. Quote, tokenization allows us to embed logic, controls, and programmability into how we transact between parties for the first time. The digitization of assets and money, such as with regulated stablecoins or central bank digital currency, will let us automate complex checks and balances on the buyer and receiver end. We can become more operationally efficient and creative with how we transact with money and do things that we've never done before. End quote. The potential applications are vast, but the common thread is enhanced trust, and auditability from tracing the entire history and provenance of assets and goods, thereby removing intermediaries. Car buyers, for example, can be assured of a vehicle's history, including accidents and repairs, and that its components are legitimate and were created sustainably. House buyers can get into homes quicker as ownership, history, events, and searches are available instantly on the blockchain and make easy payments via smart contracts. By powering end-to-end visibility of trade, digital twins, unique blockchain-based tokens linked to real-world physical objects or identities, could optimize global supply chains to prevent costly disruptions, as experienced during the COVID pandemic. Crucially, consumers could finally get better ownership of their privacy and identity in the digital age, controlling exactly who can see their data and how they can use it. Quote, we've all made the mistake of giving up our privacy by trusting companies that protect it. But they failed consumers and the market because the cybersecurity sector struggles to secure our data, says Verdian. Quote, digital assets will give control back to the consumer. Tokenization will also enable us to protect intellectual property for the first time, wrapping it as a digital asset and deciding who can consume, rent, transfer, sell, or access an asset or good. These opportunities are undoubtedly exciting, but there is one major barrier standing in the way: interoperability. When digital assets are created, they can typically only be used on a single system or network, limiting their global capability. This is akin to buying a mobile phone with a Vodafone SIM and then only being able to call other people on the Vodafone network. It's a huge barrier preventing the true power of blockchain from being unleashed. As the world's first provider of true universal interoperability, Quant is accelerating a new generation of finance by radically simplifying the process of tokenization for developers and financial institutions, unlocking the capability for digital assets to travel across all networks. Our interoperability effectively allows money, assets, and transactions to roam in the same way that your mobile phone roams, says Verdian. This is just the beginning. Most big financial services institutions are setting out a 2 to 3 year strategy to digitize every type of instrument, asset, stock, and security to benefit from tokenization. The momentum is growing, and the driver is obvious. Savvy investors the world over are increasingly demanding that their wealth managers tokenize assets in their portfolio into new digital assets to gain access to new markets and liquidity. The impact on finance will be transformational. For more information, visit Quant.network.
Nice.
There are a few bombs in here. and to me, one is that the momentum is growing, the one that they ended with, that more people are demanding tokenization, like tokenizing your house, or maybe a fancy car, or some other illiquid asset, because that is obviously the point. Some things are simply not liquid as they are. They are. I mean, it's kind of like gold. Gold is not liquid unless you heat it enough. But um, you cannot simply pay with gold anywhere. You can just do things with it. But if you tokenize it, that's why you got the PAX gold, and that's why you got all those tokenized versions of gold.
Mm.
Then you can own the gold without owning it. And if you do want to own it, then you could go to that specific vault
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
and then trade your tokens for gold if
Yeah,
one gold.
yeah, agreed. And I mean, this is one of the many examples of something that has been front run by speculation. So at this point last year, we were believing that everything would be fully realized,
What do you mean?
and speculation.
What do you mean?
I saying speculation was
For what?
peaking. Well, for tokenization.
Really?
Well, I mean, people were really bullish on it, and now
What project then? Because I cannot remember, or I didn't notice.
I mean, not necessarily a project, but it was one of the pillars behind the crypto hype, right? That everything would be tokenized, and you have these NFTs that you can create
Yeah.
anywhere. And
NFTs are
but
going to
now,
be instrumental.
yes, but now you don't hear anyone about it anymore. But
Now
it doesn't mean
you
that
don't hear anyone. Period. Crypto
no,
Twitter is a fucking
true.
wasteland.
Yeah, true, but that doesn't mean that the development of tokenization has stopped. That's the
No.
point I'm trying to make.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
sometimes people really believe that when the speculation is gone and the price, the number go up, the number goes down. They don't see any green candles anymore. That must mean that the technology has stopped existing. Well, that is obviously not the case. We just saw the first waves of a much bigger movement, which is now starting, and you see it here in this
Yeah.
advertisement with Quant just directly targeting their actual corporate clients.
Yeah. If anything, then crypto might be a canary in a coal mine.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the example I gave for the Dutch government. They have been looking at creating digital identity ever since 2016. That's when they started with digitizing passports and driver's licenses for Android and Apple and God knows what. I'm not sure if they do it on the blockchain. I believe they don't, because the blockchain is not a panacea. But it has been in the making for a really long time, and then eventually some crypto fanboy picks it up and decides to create a token and then create some hype and potentially screw the entire public perception of what the specific thing is.
yeah,
Case in point, NFTs. NFT is so much more. For instance, a passport. Passport could be an NFT. It's
they
not
are
art.
NFTs. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Other
but
things that
yeah, but the public perception has been warped.
yeah,
And in the first waves, that the public perception of Bitcoin was warped,
yeah.
and then we saw, well,
But
increasing.
that's because degens
Well,
get their hands on it. It
true,
becomes
true,
a
true, but
travesty of what it
true,
originally
true,
was intended to be.
absolutely. But then the wave in 2017, 2018, it was the warped perception of dApps, had decentralized applications that
Yeah.
would never become something. What did we see 2 years later? The DeFi boom, and slowly but surely it was picking up steam. And now, the last year or so, we saw the NFT boom, and now the public's perception is warped again because people think, oh, NFTs is all about flipping monkeys for money.
Hmm.
And they fail to see the bigger picture. Anyway, carry on, Jarno. Sorry. Was,
2 to 3 years. It's what's being written about here. In 2 to 3 years. Let me see if I can find the exact bit. Yeah, probably not when I'm looking for it.
2
But
years.
yeah, 2 to 3 years they expect tokenization to be a fact here. Most big financial services institutions are setting out 2 to 3 year strategy to digitize every type of instrument. So within 2 to 3 years, everything should be digitized. No, man, that's 2025. Who gives a shit? I think that's really interesting. I think that's a huge bomb because Gilbert is on the bleeding edge, on the front lines.
H1.
Talking about the privacy. So their Quant is literally saying that they are gonna that these solutions, the blockchain solutions and stuff, can make the problem of who holds and owns what better. Example: Zuckerberg, Facebook, Google, how they treat our information is appalling. And with self-sovereign identity, that's what they're hinting at.
Yep.
You can fix that, and trust me that Quant is involved. And I know a lot of people in the Quant community are fans of CheckD. Leave a comment if you're a CheckD fanboy or specialist and you want to come talk maybe on the Quamfy show and elaborate a little bit. I know there's even a council of CheckD right now. That's like the retarded brother sister of the Council of Quamf. I'm sorry for bashing you guys. I have no idea, but I feel that Quant's gonna do the SSID thing themselves probably, because I feel that's the way Gilbert rolls. Might be wrong. Also, there was this other thing. Yeah, the digitization of assets. Obviously, not sure what QRC-20 can do in that regard, but the timing of this paid article. I'm just doing some quick math. This was on June the 26th. The Hackworth article was June 27th, and today is June 30th, and we got the QRC-20 update, which we come to later on. I'll keep teasing that. It's also interesting. 2 weeks ago, we got the update on the Friday, because 2 weeks before that, we also got the update on the Friday. So I expected this update also to come on Friday. But Friday is July the 1st. So I think they wanted to get this out in June, i.e. H1. Call me a speculator. I don't give a shit. Do it in the comments. It's I think this is a really good sign. I think stuff is just picking up. I think the Rebecca Hackworth and the Andrew Carriers are starting to do their job. The devs are obviously doing their work, doing their job.
Yeah,
Tim?
they are. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
those guys are putting out updates.
Yeah.
like clockwork. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Before we go there, I want to say one more thing about the. Oh, you just closed the share screen.
Yeah, I did that
because
on
I actually
purpose.
want to. Can you reopen it again?
Yeah.
Because for content, I don't think we addressed this yet, and we should. So what you've been looking at and what you've you're now talking about the past 15 minutes, 16 minutes at this point. Yeah, well, was an addition to the Sunday Times. So it's called the Raconteur, or Raconteur. I don't know how you pronounce that in English, but I pronounce it in French.
Raconteur.
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 Yeah, sorry, French people.
No.
The Germans.
Okay. Inquiries à raconteur.net, huh? To find out more.
And if you scroll down, you can read a bit about Raconteur. So apparently, it's in addition to the Sunday Times every now and then, where companies can put out their commercials, their advertisements. And it reads,
once the power of print media come back. No, what?
No, do it.
No.
Do it.
Want the power of print media combined with best-in-class lead generation? Raconteur's new campaign product suite gives marketers the best of both worlds. Yeah, what is it with this?
I mean, that's pretty cool. Look at their target audience. Right?
I'm totally missing the point.
Look at the place where they are putting down their advertisement. Is it some kind of flashy Twitter post? Hey guys, we're gonna do another announcement of an announcement. Everyone is gonna get rich because we are making the most flashy. No.
Yes. No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Obviously. So indeed, they are not targeting the crypto plebs and the NFT hunters and the monkey lovers. They're targeting a specific audience, and those are the people that actually read the Sunday Times. Or yeah. Okay. So that was the point you made. I get it. What?
Raconteur.
Tim is now bobbing to some elusive song he has in his head. De raconteur. No. All the French people are gonna be pissed. Le
The CBD
raconteur.
seed. Don't you recognize this?
No.
You must.
What?
You must recognize this. It's Allo Allo. Don't you know that?
No,
You don't know Allo Allo?
Yeah, I never watched that. No.
Oh damn.
No.
Sorry, we butchered the episode once again. Well, it was pretty funny. Some shenanigans in between to keep it light. Okay.
Speaking of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should head there. Because we just had two heavy things. Well, LACChain again. And some Quant commercial, which is pretty cool. Let's move to actually a question that was being asked to us yesterday on Twitter. I suddenly saw it popping up on my timeline, and perhaps, there was someone on Twitter asking our opinion, and not only the opinion of me and Jarno, but also the opinion of other people in the Quant community. Because apparently some guy put out a video on YouTube in which he admitted to be completely wrong on, Quant, QNT, Overledger, the company. Well, not necessarily company, but about the tokenomics and the need to have a token, so to say.
Yeah.
And I think we should briefly address it. Briefly, I think we should just address this and give our view.
We're gonna go a little bit deeper than just briefly.
Yeah. Let's go in depth. Let's.
Okay. To get some more gravy on this, what you see here, the man with his open mouth, is way too small polo. I mean, if you're, well, never mind. Okay. The name is Bryce Scanlon.
Get some popcorn now. It's gonna be fun.
He's not a Scot. He's an American. The title of the video is "I was wrong about Quant. I am so sorry." I started. Wait until this bar removes itself from my screen so I can click on what I prepared. I prepared this. I saw this video, and yesterday I made a comment. I made a comment on his video, on what, in my opinion, he did well and what he missed. He missed some points. I think there were some misconceptions. I do not think he had any malicious intent. So I made a comment, and I told him we're going to record an episode, and it's going to be aired on Friday, and we're going to have a look at his video and see how we can educate both him and his audience. And in the meantime, if he wants to, he can join the discussion in Council. So I placed the link to the Telegram group there, and that was that. Also, I sent him a message on Twitter. Let's see. So I notified him. He made a tweet, and I wrote to him, "Hey man, I made a comment on your video with the Quamfy account and invited you to Council to learn and discuss." And I also added, "Did you notice that your comment section is full of scammers, by the way?" His comment section, in my opinion, is a war zone. It's a lot of people know this, but yeah, you see comments like this: "I'm 54. I and my wife earn 170,000 bi-weekly returns." Blah blah blah. He has 25 likes on this and 34 answers. And there's all these people.
This guy earns 170K bi-weekly, and he's concerned about rising food prices and gas.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
You must be.
Yeah. But he gets a lot of engagement on this, and he has more than 24 comments, and these comments are still there. There are a couple of people from the Quamfy community that I saw reaching out. One of them is the real Slim Toshi. Thank you, dude. You're doing Gil's work, and a bunch of other people as well. But there's a lot of comments. And what I also notice is what Bryce Dunn does. Whenever somebody makes a comment, he adds a hit me up via email at cryptoinvestment@gmail.com. I don't know why. But why do I show this? Because I posted a comment and he deleted apparently my comment, or the comment got deleted. But I checked because I just made a comment again.
Check it right now.
Did my comment get deleted? I just refreshed it.
Nice.
This one is still there. My other comment is gone. What I find worrying is I also made a screenshot of this because it appears that the comment this was a response I made on my own question on his Twitter. It appears that the comment I made on your video on YouTube disappeared. I was prepping for a video and noticed my comment was gone. I wonder how and why that happened. The scammers are still there, so surely you haven't deleted mine without deleting them too. It was my intention to make an honest video to try and educate him and his following on what is actually going on with Quant. We're still going to do that, but I'm a little bit butthurt for the fact that my question got deleted. The link that I put in the comments was not a link. I pulled it apart, so there was no hyperlink there, but he knew where to go, and it still got deleted. But all the scammers are still there, and I'm just guessing and speculating now. But
no, I mean the scammers aren't there. There's a guy who earns 170K bi-weekly and who's worried about.
We run.
Imagine that scenario. Imagine, what the hell are you doing, sir? Go out of the casino.
We run a really tight ship on our.
Stop putting everything on black, sir.
On our YouTube, we run a really tight ship. Any comment that resembles a scammer, we're kicking it the fuck out. If you come up with bullshit or real true bullshit with links, we kick you out. We won't take the risk. We won't expose our community to that. And as a result, we have a very stale, bland comment section with very few comments. This man has a fuck ton of comments and engagement because those scammers send a message and they like each other's messages. So he gets a ton of engagement on all his videos. It could very well be, I'm not saying it is, that he leaves all those, this is an actual user, but he leaves all this in because he gets 34 answers and 25 likes. But he does manage his comment section because he deleted my message, quote unquote, calling him out. And I was actually offering him help because I'm not really that much of a cunt. Until you kick me out of your comment section.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I mean,
strange.
Sorry, I was a bit of joking around, was trolling, but I hope you enjoy it if you take this serious. Sorry. But that was my first impression as well. I opened the video and saw like, okay, this guy has like 135 comments. I thought that my initial response without looking at them was, oh, probably what happens here is the same thing what happens to us, because sometimes we get a ton of notifications.
Yeah.
And then it's this guy who makes 170K bi-weekly, and then you see all these people discussing them, and then thanks to this and this person, I make a lot of money. And those scammers, I always kick them out as soon as I see it.
Yeah.
Because we are ethical in that way.
Yeah.
We do leave. We don't delete negative comments. Obviously, I mean we are for free discussion, but scammers, come on, that's something we ban them, we report them, we remove them, we keep it clean.
Yeah, exactly. And what I also find strange is the real Slim Toshi right here. He gets a response. Let's discuss. Hit me up via email. Yeah, it's.
But is that the real guy or is that a scammer?
I don't know. Pinned by Bryce Scanlon, could be. I don't know. Could be a scammer, but even then, still, why do you leave that? Why do you expose your community to stuff like that? Regardless, we're gonna have a stab at this video. 2:45. He begins. We're just gonna crawl through this. I have some thoughts pointed out here. We're gonna have a real quick glance at what he's missing and what the reality is, for educational purposes, and also for having a little bit of fun, because I am a little bit butthurt, and you can put that in the comment.
But in the meantime, we shouldn't be calling people names. We're just trying to be respectful.
I am butthurt. I'm not calling anybody names, do I?
Well, you call him a. Okay, let's go to the video.
No. What do you call him? Tell me.
We're already demonetized. Een eikel. Dus een eikel. Goed. Play the video.
Oh, misclick. I need to turn on the audio because there was no audio, was there?
There was no audio. I couldn't hear it.
Additional blockchain networks with Quant's Overledger. And Quant's Overledger essentially provides interoperability for a variety of different blockchain networks. For instance, this year, Quant provided support for interoperability between all Overledger services and the Polkadot chain and Polygon. And most recently, they've begun supporting the XDC blockchain. And this is very exciting as they are very proactive when it comes to providing more and more value for their stakeholders in this company. Now, the key issue I see with the Quant network as a whole is the fact that the user experience is very contingent right now on the QNT coin, although
token.
It doesn't need to be. Right now, if an institution, a developer, or a company wanted to interoperate with legacy systems or between blockchain networks, what they would have to do is go to the open market and purchase QNT. Following that, they would conduct a transaction with the Quant Treasury where they would enter into a one-year agreement where they would have access, a license to Quant's Overledger service, but as a result of that, they would have the obligation to lock up their tokens for 1 year with the Quant Treasury. And following the completion of this agreement, following that 1 year time frame, Quant would then sell the coins on the open market. And as a whole, I'm a big fan of this business model in concept.
Great. Where to begin? Let's begin with the fact that he states XDC, Polygon, more coverage, good for the QNT holder, more networks connected. I think that is that's the God honest truth. I think that is correct. I think it's beautiful. I think a lot of people are really happy with the support for those networks. When MDEPs are going to be created, people can avoid the ETH fees and God knows what. It starts to get a little bit iffy when we're talking about enterprises buying tokens on the open market. We have the very well-known infographic, and I posted that as a comment on this video before on his Twitter. This is the utility token overview. If you want to see this, you can find it in the Quant community Telegram group. It's being posted there a lot. We're in the Quamfy lounge, links in the description. And what you see here, this is obviously community made, but it is made based on information that was available, is available through various papers and other documents. And it reads, enterprise licenses, QNT tokens must be provided to Quant Network in exchange for an annual license. Price of the access will be fixed in fiat, and the number of tokens needed will vary depending on the price of QNT. Enterprise license fees will be determined on the basis of the number of users, number of employees, application type, volume of transactions. So, obviously for brevity, this is really concise. But the bottom line is, if I want a license and I am a big company, let's say I am with ING Bank, Netherlands, a Dutch bank, a big one, and I want an Overledger license, I do not have to buy tokens at all. I simply send Gil an email, yo dog, I want a license for my company, bro. And then Gilbert will come back. Yeah, sure, essay. Just send me 500,000 euros and I'll get you a license for so many computers, blah, 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 blah. And that's what happens. So regardless the price of QNT, no matter what the price of QNT is, companies will always pay the same amount of money for a specific license. And obviously that scales with the amount of developers you want, the amount of transactions you want. There are always deals to be made. But the amount paid is always, that is not optional, is 100% being converted by the treasury into QNT. There's no other way around this. And those tokens will always get locked for the duration of the license. And that is always 1 year. No exceptions, ever. It's not going to happen. It's been stated in the white paper. It's been stated in the utility paper. It's been stated by Gilbert over and over again. I made a screenshot of Telegram here. Don't know if you guys can see this. But there's a bunch of, if you go to main and you type in search by user Gilbert Verdian and you type in token utility, you're going to get a bunch of, in line with the token utility paper, all licenses paid for by each party, plus all transactions go through Overledger are paid in QNT. Token model stayed the same. Treasury design, utility token update. There's a bunch of information like this in there. First, I wanted to make a bunch of screenshots, but like I said, after I got a little bit butthurt, I was like, no. But that hasn't changed. That is still the same. I lost my train of thought for a bit. Tim, can you maybe say something intelligent for a little bit?
For a little bit, where are we in the? I was looking at Instagram, inventorizing questions. Which part are we in? Utility token overview.
Thank you. I got my train of thought back. So
you literally showed me the picture. I said, "Oh yeah, we're at the utility token overview." Like,
yeah,
okay.
I hate silences, man. They're just so awkward. No.
Yeah?
So there's no optionality there. Bryce, was it? Was it Bryce?
Scamlon.
Yeah, Bryce Scamlon.
Scam.
So there's no optionality there. There's no choosing, no picking and choosing. It is simply. Oh, I lost my image again. I'm such an idiot. Oh, here it is.
But I mean, sorry, I'm zoning out because we are reiterating the tokenomics of QNT, and I don't.
Yes, and we're gonna
really want to do that. I
know you don't want to, but we're gonna do this because people can now get educated and they can find it out the right way in one video, and we're gonna
instead of going all over the internet.
Yes, and we're gonna make very neat timestamps. So this was enterprise licenses, and the next one we're gonna go on in fat fingers. I know you hate it, and I thought, oh my god, Tim's gonna hate this, but we're still gonna do this. The next one is.
Like I'm lecturing a bunch of kids.
Yeah, the real issue: token not needed, greater access to their services, and discontinue the token. So that's like the broad strokes. Here we go.
Continues to drive demand for the QNT coin as well as reduce the overall circulating supply in the market as more and more companies begin to accumulate QNT. However,
this is what he says is an upside, because companies are gonna accumulate QNT. Okay, companies, ladies and gentlemen, are not going to accumulate QNT.
No.
They do not have to own QNT.
Why would they?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
No. They want the white glove approach. They do not want to handle nasty, filthy,
Crypto.
volatile tokens, because it's just a liability. It is not an asset. Never. A token is never an asset to a company like this. Those companies, let's say the ING example, they make money from interest and they make money from investments. And their investments right now are in, for instance, real estate, or in maybe trackers or
Gold. Bonds.
yeah, maybe more established, and maybe in the future they'll get crypto, but it is not very likely.
No.
Also, let's say they want to run a gateway, because ideally they will want to do that. There will be companies, and Quant will be one of them, that provides gateways as a service. So what does ING have to do in this example? ING just needs to assign a developer, and that developer says, okay, I want to run a gateway. That guy is savvy. That guy knows what he's talking about. And he's like, okay, listen up, boss. I want to run a gateway, and we're going to need some tokens to stake. And then his boss like, but of course, how much money do you need? And then he'll be, yeah, I think we're going to need about like 2,500 tokens. And the boss will be, just send me a receipt. And then the developer goes to Gilbert. He's like, hey, dude, I'm going to be needing 2,500 QNT tokens. And he's got to get 2,500 QNT tokens to stake. He does not have to go to the market or whatever. Treasury will get that all sorted. Or they just go to Gilbert and say, hey, dude, I want a gateway with 2,500 tokens in it. Because more tokens gives more bandwidth, putting up the graph.
And let's add to that. I'm just trying to make sense of the argument of needing to have your own gateway. It's just for...
Yeah, because the benefit of running an
own... At the end of the day, the Overledger network is decentralized, right? So you cannot really control what is going through your own gateway.
Well,
or am I wrong?
To a degree, you probably can, because you're gonna have outgoing traffic as well.
Yeah.
So you can run your own MDApp on your own gateway.
Yeah.
And you can then run that through the Overledger network. On this, gateways and staking. To run a gateway, there's an annual fee fixed in fiat to be paid in QNT tokens. I have a gateway. I paid Gilbert, the treasury, a fee of 100 Great British pounds in QNT through my MetaMask. Yeah, through my MetaMask. So this is 100% confirmed, because gateway operators do pay in QNT and not in fiat. Only the higher tier customers get that white glove service. Gateways earn QNT for transaction processing. Hey, so there's more than just using it to pay licenses. Additional QNT tokens can be staked in quotation marks, to increase the capacity of the gateway. The more the gateway operator, quote unquote, stakes in the variable deposit, the more requests they can accept, resulting in more QNT earned. And what makes this so interesting, and that's this point as well, is it's a very good store of value, because every QNT or every Verdian, that's 1/18th of a QNT, you earn grants you a larger percentage of the total supply, because all tokens are minted. Not only are all tokens minted, all tokens are also unlocked and circulating, meaning there are 14.6 million, I rounded that down, tokens, and every time you process a transaction, you get a little wee bit of QNT, and that goes onto your stack. no inflation, no other shenanigans or dilution or vesting schedules or other crap like that. So it's an actual store of value, unlike, well, in a way, Bitcoin is still inflationary because not all Bitcoins are minted until 21 or 40. It's a little bit quicker, but makes the point.
Yep.
The infograph continues. The content is for informational purposes only. You should not construe such blah blah blah. Tax investment utility token value is not directly correlated with its demand. With more use cases for a token, the higher the demand and value becomes. So because it's kind of deflationary, because the more people contribute to the network, the more QNT are stored in the gateways, meaning scarcity increases. And simply because of the fact that all the clients, the paying clients, mind you, pay in fiat, the price can go to whatever it wants to go because customers pay in fiat. And eventually the price will have to go up because Quant is scarce. There's only 2/3 the amount of QNT as there will ever be Bitcoin on this planet. Anything to add for now, Tim?
Nope.
Okay, so now we're going to go listen to the bit where he talks about the real issue and how the token can get discontinued.
However, the real issue comes into play if Quant ever decides that they want to provide greater access to their Overledger services, and because of that, they would discontinue the use of the QNT coin when it came to solely using the Overledger service. And while it wouldn't be outright banned and people could still pay with Quant, the real issue would be that it wouldn't be necessary to actively use the Overledger service. And because of that, there would be a significant loss in demand for QNT. Furthermore, Quant on their website, which they recently updated, and it looks fantastic by the way, have all their attention, all their focus on their Overledger rather than the QNT token specifically. And because of that, to me, it's an indication that they haven't fully committed on using QNT as a form of payment when it comes to Overledger, and they have not been actively promoting the QNT coin for the use of Overledger services as much as they should be if this is the sole way that customers are going to be able to pay for and access Quant's flagship service, Overledger.
Okay, so this man has made, he constructed his own little story fairy tale, and my tone of talking right now is totally changed than I intended to. Because
that is like
because
accusing...
because he deleted my comment and because but this is strange because he created the problem of enterprises needing to buy QNT and that is now the problem that he created, which is false.
Yeah.
And that is now the argument for what he just said, that Overledger is like the biggest product and the token needs to be promoted and it isn't. So that's why, yeah.
Let me add, sorry, Jarno.
Okay.
That is like accusing Microsoft of improving Microsoft Word, Office, and not promoting their licensing. Because that is what it's all about, right? Making the licenses flashy and nice that you want to buy a license. And not the product. Who cares about the product? You need money. You need to promote that. You need to promote the keys. That's what it's all about. You need a flashy website where it says, buy me. It's not about Microsoft Word. It's not about how well Office performs. Right? That's what he's saying. That's literally what he's saying. He's like, oh yeah, we could care less about the product. It's all about the token. Dude, it's the other way around. You need to you need to make your product as good as possible. And the token is just...
I'll even take it a step further.
Product.
I'll even take it a step further. The token is of no consequence, and that's why his entire video is just a bunch of beep, because the token is of no consequence to the clients. Some of the clients will likely not even know the token exists simply because of the white glove approach and everything is being sorted by the treasury. Yeah. Moreover, and he's going to talk about the SEC a little bit further on in this video. It is a utility token. It is not a coin. It is a utility token. And that means that the token needs to have utility. And the utility that it has is not payment. It is not a currency. And it is not a security. It is not to be promoted as such. It is not to be treated as such. The XRP, Ripple, is having problems right now because they have been promoting their token. They have made their token, their coin, that is a coin, by the way, the center of attention. And they have paid people. And same goes, well, let's not go there.
Well, one more example. I mean, he's going to talk about SEC later on. So shall we specifically address that and continue the video there?
No, because it's not in this context. Because he says the token needs to be promoted. The token needs to be promoted on a website because the token needs to be sold. But the token is a utility token, and the token, utility token, works in the background. The token is not needed to buy a license. If my 76-year-old father wants to buy a license, he can just send Gilbert a bunch of fiat, tells him what he wants on a nice little email, and Gilbert will get it all sorted. My dad doesn't even need to have a wallet or whatever. Same with ING. Because the utility token, I'll bring it up again, does all this in the background. Because the token is used for transaction processing. Quant tokens are used to validate, sign, and encrypt every transaction that flows through Overledger. Every enterprise client, developer, user, and application validates each transaction using their QNT linked to their ID and account. Yes, it is partly centralized, and yes, you need to perform KYC. No transaction can flow through Overledger without being securely validated by QNT tokens. Your ID is what you get when you're a developer. I obviously can't show you because that would be me doxing my mainnet key.
Yeah.
But there are keys assigned to your identity.
Yeah, but let's take it a step back for everyone. So the QNT token is like the fuel that keeps the engine running.
It's the fuel.
But
it's the
it's
oil.
not.
It's the fuel. It's the oil. It's the coolant. It is the air conditioning. It is the brake fluid. It's everything.
Yes. But at the same time, it is not necessary when Overledger is not being used. So accusing the company of focusing solely on Overledger,
yeah,
that's as wrong as it can get, because Overledger is ultimately the engine that needs the fuel of QNT.
Yeah.
And by focusing on QNT only, you will have a ton of fuel, but you have no economy that, right? If there is no economy that needs the fuel, you can pump up as much fuel as you like, promote it as much as you want, but if there is no demand, they still have issues.
Yeah, so what is being sent from your account, whether it being all QNT or Verdians, it is all linked in a combination within the hash to your ID. And nothing goes across the network without a little bit of QNT attached to it.
Yeah.
Platform fees, in addition to license fee. A platform fee calculated as a percentage of the license fee in QNT will be payable by all users and developers. A minimum QNT holding amount is put in place for every participant of the Overledger ecosystem. The wallet storing QNT is your identity. The private key is your password, and the license fee, you are assigned a BPI key. And this is how it all works, and that's why it's a pure utility token. There is nothing that could ever make this a security or a means of payment alone. Yes, there are licenses being paid. Yes, there are fees being paid on the platform, but it is so much more than that. And what's the benefit of the token? It makes everything better. It is pretty easy to get a license key. For instance, Driver Booster. I love Driver Booster. And every time there's a new update, I just go in Google and I type Driver Booster license key, and I find a license key, and I copy paste it, and I have a pro version of Driver Booster, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's obviously freeware and everybody can use it and is intended to do that. But with the token, if they have a token, you need to get the token and you need to get that linked to an account.
Yeah. So long story short, it's just the fuel that keeps the engine running, and we can talk about it for hours. But that is where
we are teaching people.
we do.
We're educating.
We do. But we can talk about this for hours if you want, because there are so many applications of the token.
Yes.
We haven't even addressed the.
No.
I mean, if we really want to school people, even the amount of fuel that the engine needs is divided into 18 decimals.
Yeah.
So there will be an infinite supply of QNT.
Yeah.
But there won't be an infinite supply of QNT, if it makes any sense, because there are only 14 million tokens, and we need to do it with that.
Yeah, and that's why.
And the less supply there is, the more expensive the token is going to get.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the
because,
video.
okay, Gilbert also, and he's going to read his CV later. Gilbert is a master of cryptography and technology and security and whatnot. He would not have created Overledger and all his other projects and attached the token to it if it was not the best option, because the little wee bit of money that he earned initially from the tokens, he could have gotten elsewhere with a lot less hassle, I suppose. So the token actually adds something, and we're going to get to that a little bit.
And so this is very concerning, but I do have a few reasons why this may not necessarily happen. I believe that there will be a way for Quant to actively continue to grow their service while continuing to curate a specific ecosystem for the QNT coin, and allow me to explain this. Were Quant to outright discontinue the usage of QNT, this would result in a dramatic sell-off in price, which is mostly driven by retail speculators at this point. Furthermore, it would prompt a number of regulatory agencies to take legal action against Quant, which would be extremely harmful to their business development. On top,
that is true. Yeah, if Gilbert would now say, token is being scratched, and we're not going to use the token anymore, there will be trouble. That'll happen. Do you have doubts about that, Tim?
No, but there will be trouble, so it's not very logical for the company to do that.
Yeah.
Plus, adding to that, no, he's just like, it just doesn't make any sense. He's just trying to make an argument by putting random stuff together and then lining it up and saying, oh yeah, this is probably what's going on.
Set up for themselves is designed to curate the overall value of the QNT coin, and by driving more and more demand for it, as Quant is the only way to get access to the Overledger service and their overall earnings through licensing fees. The worst case scenario I could see for Quant right now is if the company discontinued the use of QNT and allowed their customers to pay in other digital assets or fiat currencies, and they would have the Quant token as a way to get discounted prices and perhaps other value mechanisms. Conversely, there's another possibility where the Quant team issues some form of buyback.
What?
Yeah, he goes on a tangent here right now.
No, no, but just, I mean, sorry about the tokenomics, but educate yourself.
Yeah.
But this is interesting. What the hell does he mean with other value mechanisms and get a discount?
Yeah, he's talking about advertising, discounts, and token buybacks.
Does this guy even know what Quant is about?
No, but
he has no clue.
No, I think he has no clue about business in general. I think
he's just making shit up. I'm sorry, he's just making stuff up.
Yeah. Discontinue the token, accept other payments.
And let me add to that. If we properly talk about tokenomics, you should know that every company can get in with any kind of fiat currency, just swap it around for QNT.
He made multiple videos apparently on QNT.
Yeah, but did you already address the point where he literally said that entities need to go in the open market, buy QNT tokens from the open market on an exchange?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. We've had the Uniswap FUD. It's not 2020 anymore. It's not early 2021.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally what he says. Oh yeah, they go on. I think the central bank of Sweden, the Swedish Riksbank, is going on Uniswap. It's going to buy 50,000 QNT to supply all the Swedish citizens with CBDC, which I, by the way, think is a total way of the totalitarian regime, and it will take away all your privacy. Okay, continue.
We have a response. We have a reply on the comment. Let's see. Hit me up via email. Oh, that's the Bryce Scanlon scammer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Should we actually send an email?
No, it's
just for shenanigans.
I'm not sure what you see here. I'm not sure, but what you see here is the same Bryce Scanlon as
Oh dear.
all the other guys got a comment from.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Bryce, clean up your fucking comment section, dude.
Where they discontinue
Get it sorted, man.
usage of the Quant coin and just rely on other payment services.
Reporting
and
this.
If this were the case, then I do believe that Quant would be able to walk away from this whole situation and business model that they've set up for themselves without having to really worry about regulatory action from the SEC and other governing bodies, and do it in a way where it's amicable to both retail investors and their customers. While I have just listed my concerns for the QNT token, I have very few concerns about the success of Quant as a company. For example, Gilbert Veridian, the CEO of Quant, is connected with a wide variety of institutions, and we've discussed this at length in prior videos, and we've talked about his connections to the Federal Reserve, to Her Majesty's Bank, and more recently, his role in the Digital Pound Foundation, where Quant is attempting to create a central bank digital currency for the Bank of England, which is absolutely tremendous. On top of that, we do need to consider the plethora of use cases that the Quant Network has, whether it be cross-border payments, MDApps, multi-chain dApps, where developers are able to pick their favorite features from a variety of blockchains, or connecting legacy systems to legacy systems. There's just a wide variety of options and multiple pathways to success for Quant as a company. However, the crux of this video isn't about whether or not Quant will be successful, but rather, will the stakeholders, the people who own the QNT coins, be able to share in that success? And that's not
Stop,
the FUD
pause.
on the QNT.
Because he was rambling.
Yeah.
So he basically says two things. So he shares our vision that the company will be successful, but
token not needed.
Where we assume that the token is the engine, is the fuel that keeps the engine running, he argues that the token is not needed.
Yeah. Now he says it could potentially be. He is like not trying to FUD, but what if? What if the token is not needed anymore? Yeah, and it, but it all. I think it's all a misunderstanding. I think.
Come on, it's not a do some research, man. I mean, how can you post yourself in the internet being this stupid? We have a guest. We have a guest. Yeah, we're live.
Nils, make sure that oh yeah, you already had your face on camera. Yeah.
We are live.
Yeah.
No.
So
yeah.
It's and he's gonna go on a little bit, and his comment section is a war zone. It's just lack of research, and it's just sheer misinformation what he's spreading, to be fair. Bryce Scanlon deleting my comment. That's why you had this line of reviewing, and I don't apologize.
No, just for the sheer stupidity of the video.
Now I hate these stupid online social, but this is just calling him out, because I mean, not doing the work is one thing, but what also happened is I'm trying to help. I gave him an olive branch, and he deleted my comment, but he left all the scammers in the comments. Well, I'm sorry, Bryce, but fuck you. And on that bombshell,
we introduce our guest.
welcome
Nils.
to the asylum, Nils.
Yeah,
You-
hi. How are you doing, guys?
Yeah, I'm doing
We
well. Can
are,
hear you very well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a little bit blurry, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Maybe the camera is.
It's the lighting, but
It's fine.
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. How's life, my man?
Yeah, great, awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, Quant. How do you say that in the context of Quant? It's a bit dragging on, price. If you look at the price and everything, but
Yeah.
still, and that's with every dip or every except the dip because then everyone gets depressed and stuff like that. The fundamentals are still valid. That's also what I'm saying in the groups.
The fundamentals got invalidated 10 times already. They only
Yeah.
got better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that's one thing to keep in mind. And apart from that, I mean, work and private life keeps me busy anyway. So I don't have time or the energy to worry a lot about stuff like this, because I'm pretty confident that in the end, an investment in Quant is a good investment. So from the whole perspective, that from like the fact that you're putting money into something, that's no problem. But it's also very interesting to see how the technology develops and what partnerships Quant has. Well, we assume they have them, but also what is in the open that they confirmed having them. So, for instance, like LACChain, but also other stuff. And that's pretty interesting to be, well, not being a part of in the sense that I'm part of that ecosystem, but more being part of in the sense of having a community which is interested in this, in everything what's going on with Quant. So yeah, I mean, that's still valid, basically. So yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Good to have you here. We just concluded bashing Mr. Bryce Scanlon. Don't know if you noticed, there was a YouTube video where he was he had some quote unquote concerns, got a little bit heated. I sent him a comment yesterday.
Yeah, wasn't that the YouTube video with regards to tokenomics and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
yeah,
It always
yeah.
seems to be about the tokenomics in those videos. It's very interesting, but
Yeah, it's a lack of reading comprehension usually.
yeah,
That's
It is.
tokenomics. But I like I said, I handed an olive branch yesterday evening on both Twitter and on his YouTube, and his comment section is full of scammers. But he deleted my comment reaching out to him. So my intention was to have a very kind review of his video, and then I noticed that he deleted my comment, and then I was butthurt, and now we made a rant video. So
Okay.
I'm a
Yeah.
little bit heated still, but it's going to be properly entertaining, I suppose.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, be
Or
welcome.
here, because sorry, Tim.
No, be welcome. And for your
Yeah.
context, we're at this point we're like 1 hour and 20 minutes into the podcast.
Okay.
We addressed some things. We talked about LACChain, the announcement that came a couple of days ago, the marketing, the thing in the Sunday Times, and then we went into the Brian Scanlon video and talked about it for like 40 minutes, addressing all kinds of aspects of Overledger, how it works, and just straight out debunked some of the nonsense he was putting out.
And Tim and I
And
had
now
some,
we have you here.
yeah, we had some speculation because we had some articles. I'm going to show you because I want to know your opinion as well. I asked Nils, by the way. Nils is a little bit like our resident tech. What's that, Tim?
Yeah, or resident,
Our resident
tech
tech.
expert.
Yeah.
He never joined an English video, I think.
No.
Not as far as I know.
The
No.
first one, which was like the part regarding ODAP and BGP. ODAP is now migrated to SET, by the way, but that's another discussion for another time, I guess.
Yeah.
That was the only time I participated in a Dutch one, not in the English one. So
And you did also appear on the show with together with Bas, with the King's Day episode, or was that the?
That was the Dutch episode. That was the
okay.
only one I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay, so
Be welcome, Nils.
Yeah, no problem.
Enjoy your stay.
Great to be here.
Welcome to the asylum.
There were some articles. One was this one by Rebecca Hackworth on the 27th of June. I just want to share the speculation. I find this a really interesting discovery. And they talked about this. And what you see here is what I identified. Did you see the Dutch episode?
The last one, or
Yeah.
I'm halfway there because
Yeah.
yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It's nearly 2 hours. But this is interesting, and I kind of identified that this being tier 4 of the QRC-20.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, it could be tier 4 QRC-20. Then we went to this article
In the Sunday Times.
in the Sunday Times, and that was dated June 26th.
Okay.
Same week. And there they also talked about something that pertained to this update. I can't remember what exactly. I'm not going to skim through this. But that was also interesting. And then we got the, what's our third thing? I thought that was a third thing, Tim. Or am I making things up now?
Well, the fact that QRC mainnet is now live, and that is exactly where Nils is joining us for right now.
And that's the update today. So there were 2 articles.
Yeah.
And they both, under the hood, pertained to this update. So they were actually, in my opinion, leading up to this. One from Sunday, one from Tuesday, and now we got the update. Release 229 introduces the beta version of Overledger Tokenise, our new premium API and tokenization product, and provides connectivity with XDC mainnet and Bitcoin version 23. Read more at buff blah 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 blah. Logistics out of the way. Nils, I sent you the release notes for this.
Yeah.
Do you have any precursor remarks before I'm gonna run through this? Is there something that we should already?
Well, I mean, I've looked into it, and starting from the last part of the release notes, which basically describes some API upgrades towards Bitcoin and other networks, I think. And that's more like under the hood. If you want to, because what that basically does is it tells you that if you want to use a specific feature of a certain blockchain via the Overledger software, you have to use this specific API command to get that feature from you. That's basically what it says.
Was that this?
Yeah, that's this part basically.
With the post HTTPS.
Yeah.
api.sandbox.io/v2/preparation/transaction.
Yeah. So that's also the disclaimer, which is important to note, is that I'm not a software engineer. I'm more of an infrastructure architect by trade. Well, actually a network architect, which is one layer deeper. But I know what's happening here and what they want to achieve with this. So basically, these are updates to make sure that Overledger is supporting the underlying blockchains which is want to connect, basically. And an API is nothing more than well, it's a lot, but it's a way to basically publish certain capabilities from a certain software. So, for instance, if a new Bitcoin version has some stuff in there which you want to use via Overledger, you can use this API call to make that work. That's basically what it says.
Cool.
So and it only means that the Overledger product is evolving, and that's the thing, of course, with Overledger, is that it must be able to connect to all the blockchains. Well, not all blockchains, but the blockchains which it supports. So basically, like the top 20 blockchains, like Polkadot and all the other blockchains. But it also needs to make sure that the APIs it uses for that are supported within Overledger. So yeah, that's an important aspect, which is part of the Overledger updates we see once in a while, which basically deals with this kind of stuff. So do a post or a get or whatever in this part.
Yeah, that's also what you see at the bottom here. Improvements, no customer-facing changes. And this is what you talked about earlier, the known issues. The tokenized APIs described below do not support addresses with suffix XDC. Please assure to use 0x for an address, as per example, 0x, a lot of numbers. And then you get a bunch of examples like tokenized APIs, item, #1, create a QRC-20 payment. And then you get the posts or the commands for both sandbox production with the documentation.
Yeah, so basically this you can say that this release notes has a part which is basically maintenance of the current blockchain, which is connects. And then the first part is actually a new feature, which is of course interesting because that's the whole QRC stuff going on. And that's the link. And I do see that link towards the documents. So the Sunday Times article and the other article which you posted, which basically says, hey guys, we have a new mainnet infrastructure in place, which you can use to tokenize all kinds of transactions. And that's this product. And Overledger Tokenize is a new term for me. I haven't heard it anywhere, but yeah, I think it's just as new as it is for me as it is for you. So
yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah.
Okay. Overledger 2.2.9. This release introduces the beta phase of Overledger Tokenize. Quant's platform to deploy QRC-20, which are ERC-20 compatible tokens, onto Ethereum, Polygon, and XDC mainnets. Release 2.2.9 also supports XDC Network Mainnet, a hybrid network designed for enterprise use, and connects the Bitcoin network to version 23. We will be extending Tokenize later this year with new capabilities for QRC-20 tokens and other token types. Overledger Tokenize mainnet launch. Tokenize provides users with the ability to deploy QRC-20, or ERC-20 compatible tokens onto mainnets without the need to code. After tokens are deployed, Tokenize APIs can be used in MDApps to call various functions to support a wide range of use cases, from making blockchain-based payments to digitizing equities and loyalty schemes. I just opened a link and this leads to docs.overledger.io.
Yeah, this is basically the documentation you can use as a programmer to see which specific commands I need to include in my code to actually do a transaction, or well, everything you want to do. So this is basically the how-to file basically to make the transaction based on QRC-20.
Closed source, centralized. Maybe,
well, yeah, it's it's basically a description of how to talk to the Overledger network.
I understand. Interesting. We're gonna return to that in a bit, if you want, Nils. Let's see. Users can interact with Tokenize through a new, easy-to-use user interface called Quant Connect. To deploy and view their tokens. Note that the existing Overledger platform remains the user interface for registering MDApps and generating client IDs. Current users of Overledger can log into Quant Connect using their existing credentials with no need to create a new account. Okay, yeah, I just clicked on the link, tried opening it, and indeed I saw a login screen. Yeah, okay. I needed to check if I was on the Quamfy show or not on my own account. That'd be quite disastrous.
Yeah, so you need a developer account to exit this. And
yes. On my own browser, I do have one, and I didn't want to log in with that explicitly. Okay. So cold sweat broke out for a little bit. Yeah, I sometimes mix my browser windows up. And yeah, that'd be terrible. Current users of Overledger can log into Quant Connect using their. Okay, I read that. Sorry. API support for XDC Network Mainnet. XDC Network is a hybrid network designed for enterprise use and known for its focus on security, high transaction speeds, and low carbon footprint. It runs on a delegated proof-of-stake network and has low transaction fees. All Ethereum-based functions in Overledger are available on XDC Network Mainnet, such as searching for transaction monitoring activity on an address and smart contract invoke. Also, you can now submit a transaction with the XTC prefix on your address to Overledger. The location to supply in your API request to reach XTC network mainnet is, and this is code, and I'm going to skip that.
Yeah, so basically that's a new addition. So that's a new blockchain you can use with Overledger.
Are you read in or aware of XinFin XTC or any?
No. I haven't had the time to do some research in that. So
yeah, no, I understand. Let's see. We are now on the xinfin.org website. Dedicated proof of stake, hybrid relay bridges, instant block finality, and interoperability with ISO 222 messaging standards, making XinFin's hybrid architecture developer friendly. Okay. Well, apparently they're doing something right because Quant is not adding any blockchain to their infrastructure. And what you see also here on the XinFin website is an proof of stake hybrid network powered by XTC protocol. You see a graph here. Third generation, it produces 2,000 transactions per second. The average fee is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1/10,000 of a US dollar cent for a transaction. Confirmation within 2 seconds. Smart contract support, yes. Eat your heart out, Polkadot. And energy consumption is also like 6 digits behind, six decimal, but it's in terawatt hours. So that's terawatt, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, that's how you get that many decimals. And they compare it to Bitcoin and to Ethereum. Yeah, it's pretty astounding. Is it terawatts? No.
I mean, why would they otherwise put a T in there? That's TB. Fat fingers.
What?
It's TWH, right?
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Always fat fingers.
Terawatt hour.
Terawatt hours. So 1 terawatt hour.
It's
a lot.
Yeah,
1 trillion watts per hour. So one. This is crazy. If this is true, then
1 terawatt hour battery. Okay, continue, Jarno.
No. Then one Bitcoin transaction for this first generation, second generation, because 70 terawatt hours, that would be 70 trillion watts an hour for one transaction. That's ridiculous. That's Nils. I'm breaking my brain on this. Does this mean anything to you? Is this?
Well, it means, I mean, it says something about the energy consumption about a Bitcoin transaction, and I mean that's the whole discussion. Is crypto and Bitcoin specifically? Is it a problem for stuff like climate change or energy consumption? Well, based on these figures, it certainly is. I mean, all that energy needs to be produced somewhere, and I assume it's not only solar panels and wind generators doing this. So I mean, that's the thing, of course, now. And there's in the crypto world a lot of discussion. Is it valid to say, okay, Bitcoin is energy intensive, so it's a risk, stuff like that? But if you look at the data, basically these stats, it's probably is in some way, assuming that the energy is also being produced by fossil means, I guess. But that's
still looking at a terawatt. That was like with 12 decimals or something like that.
Yeah.
If you then it is still 7,500 watts. Nah, that's not that much. That's like 3 vacuum cleaners per hour, continuously running.
Yeah.
Or
maybe more.
Yeah, it's
Go we skip the energy part, guys.
no, I think it's interesting. I think it's fascinating. I think it's a enormous amount of energy that's
the
being
problem is, I mean, you have more lies and statistics basically, and this is of course how do you twist figures and numbers in a way that it's positive for your own product in this case. And I'm get it. I mean, the whole principle of Bitcoin is that you have to validate a transaction by multiple miners. Basically, I mean, that's the whole principle, and that's also the principle of proof of work protocols. And that implicitly has a certain energy consumption associated with that. But more interestingly, of course, is the transaction per second, which is compared to Ethereum, but also compared to XTC, it's much slower. Which again proves the point, in my opinion, that the classic Bitcoin, I'm not talking about Bitcoin Cash because they will say it's faster, is not a means of money. It's a store of value, whatever that may be. But okay, that's a different discussion. But if you, I mean, it's not realistic to consider a product like Bitcoin to do a transaction between two people. And of course, you have two pairs doing a transaction, which means that there's no intermediary, which is the whole, unique selling point of Bitcoin. But who will use that? I mean,
I don't know.
Agreed.
But it's again, that's a different discussion.
It is, and actually, it turns out I was muted earlier this episode, and actually said I don't care about XTC. Sorry, I don't care about it. I don't really care.
I think the only
I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I don't care about XTC.
You underestimate the significance.
Perhaps, but I don't care. It's just another network, and we need all the networks. And
what are you thinking, Nils?
Well, I think the interesting part is that it's ISO compliant with the ISO 2022 ISO norm, or basically, which of course is also what Quant is, or QRC-20 is also compliant. So that basically means that the message format it uses is ISO compliant, which makes it easier for programmers to say, okay, I know this ISO format, so that means I can program my software according to certain constraints and rules and regulations and norms. And that helps because it means your product is being adapted more and in more ecosystems, blah, blah. But again, if you look at the whole use case for this token or product, well, I haven't looked into it, so I'm a bit hesitant to make a statement about it because I don't know all detail, but it is ISO compliant in a sense, so that's somewhat interesting, I guess. But I can't really tell how it compares to Quant, if it compares at all, because I think Quant is using a different.
It's not the same. It's a blockchain, so it ends there. But Quant will not be potentially as successful as it can be if there are no blockchains attached. I mean, obviously,
definitely. I'm not saying.
Or ledgers in that case.
Definitely. So, but I do think looking at the XTC, and if you compare it, for instance, with the transaction speed and the smart contract capability, I mean, XRP has transaction speed. Do they have the smart contract capability? I know, what was that, Polygon with downtime, or whatever network was that?
Solana.
Solana.
Yeah. So there's,
But it's really nice still. I mean, it's a great thing that they keep adding those networks, right? I mean, it's not bad. I'm just not personally interested in XTC. That's the thing.
And the thing, of course, is that technology can be so good, but if it's not supported, if it's not maintained, if it's not performant under pressure, if you want to do a big use case, of course, for a bank or something, it's not interesting. I mean, the whole principle, it's not. That's one of the things people say about Quant. It's not decentralized, and I think, well, a lot of customers, they don't want a decentralized stuff. They want a central choke, a throat to choke, basically, when something goes wrong. I mean, and it's a whole different ballgame. Again, you have the crypto world, and you have like the upper world, basically.
The real world.
The real world, basically. But real stuff going on, real transactions, and And that's the space where Quant lives in, basically. But again, I mean, they have connectors to all those blockchains, and that's of course interesting when Overledger really takes off, and you can see transactions in a dashboard or whatever, is to see how many transactions go to those blockchains. And yeah.
What I'm wondering now, you say that, even let's say we do not get a dashboard for the next upcoming year, but XDC potentially does have a dashboard. Will it be possible to see Overledger transactions on the XDC blockchain? Will those be identifiable? Same with Ethereum or Polkadot, whatever we already have connected. Those public blockchains and ledgers.
I guess it should be possible if you basically tag each transaction with a certain ID, and that you can search for that ID. You can also put it in a dashboard. I mean, if it's data which is recognizable as being an XDC or Overledger, an XDC transaction going over Overledger, you probably could.
Interesting. So
yeah.
If we do not get a dashboard for transaction on Overledger, we could technically look for indicators of Overledger use in XDC stuff going on, so we could then technically see if there is usage or traffic.
I guess so. But I'm thinking about how that specifically should work, in the sense that if you, for instance, look at Etherscan and you can follow transactions, you can basically see, okay, a certain transaction goes from this wallet, from wallet A to wallet B, and you can, that's the whole stuff which we're doing now with the Coinbase wallets, of course, is looking, can we find Waldo? Can we find where it's all coming from? But just thinking out loud now, and this is interesting, is can you basically do a sort of a packet trace, the same way as you can do on the internet? If you do like a trace route from you to Google, which hubs does it traverse? Can you also do sort of an Overledger packet trace, where you can see, okay, I now have an Ethereum transaction, and I'm going to trace that packet and go and see if it goes to a normal bank ledger, for instance, via the Swift network, just to make a comparison of a transaction via a blockchain to a normal ledger. I don't know if that's possible. It might be. That's an interesting question, because then you can really have a sort of an insight in not only what the network does in the sense of transaction per second, which is interesting in itself, but also see where the transactions are going to. And I think one of the things that always Quant is saying is that the transactions are not, they're anonymous, in the sense that we don't see a transaction from the ABN AMRO, for instance, to Coinbase or something, just another example. But we do see there is a transaction. So, but what you can do is go in between. So you can say which actual endpoints are involved, but you could identify which ledgers or blockchains are used. So basically, you can see that it's Ethereum versus like a normal ledger or a bank ledger based on Hyperledger or Corda or whatever. But you can see it's from this specific bank to this specific or something.
Obviously.
It's interesting.
Okay. So that's the gauntlet.
Yeah, well, and then the next question is, of course, are we as simple crypto schnitzels able to see that, or is that is the dashboard only useful for those customers of Quant who actually use that transaction? I think it's the latter, and we as simple consumers are left in the dark. And we, well, of course, we hope that because the price of the token rises, we see there's something happening. And hopefully that's decoupled from other chains. Well, that's again another discussion, but then we can see that something is in use, but the actual metadata or the actual inside information, what's going on, is I doubt that we will able to see it.
Interesting.
Or else we should all work for a bank and get into it. That's of course the other option.
But hereby I throw down the gauntlet. Any developers or aficionados that want to try and identify some of these things, maybe look for a way through the connected networks and blockchains on mainnet and maybe you can find some Overledger traffic that we have to go by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let us know if Tim.
No. Let us know indeed, and it perfectly ties into what we did in the last Dutch episode, where we actually went to the dashboard of LACChain, and we know LACChain is all part of the Overledger network, and LACChain does have a dashboard where we can at least see their testnet transactions. I'm not sure if it's mainnet.
Yeah, and
it is a really interesting premise to find out that that's possible. At the same time, you have to realize it's the same as asking someone who works for an internet service provider what traffic is going from a specific user or group of user or a city or a neighborhood towards a certain website. You can look at the traffic, but it's confidential. It's part of,
obviously
you can share that, but you can say
right now we know nothing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So it'd be really interesting if somebody can do that. You don't have to come on the show if you don't want to, but it'd be really interesting if you can find any information or data pertaining to Overledger or MDEP use or whatever. And let us know. And you can find me in my DMs on Telegram or any of the groups, Dutch group, whatever group. Just look for Jarno, tag me. I'm active everywhere. And same goes for Tim. Otherwise, Twitter, Quamfy Show.
Yes.
YouTube.
About 2.29, that tokenized service.
Yeah.
That is still really, really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Do people already have access to that service? Because I clicked on it, and it's literally a website where you can log in and just engage with Overledger in a simple manner, right?
Okay, I can try while I'm here. You guys need to do some talking. I can try with my developer thing to log in.
I can play elevator music.
No, just do some.
There were some shenanigans earlier this
Maybe
episode.
you can do the Macarena, you guys.
No, I'm sorry. No. I'll pass. Well, what interestingly is I think you probably will busy with the podcast, but there was a message in the NLB group that there was a statement from the Federal Reserve which says that there will delay the ISO 2000 or 20,002 cutover by 2 years.
I did. I saw it. Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, the ISO implementation. Yeah, that's old news.
Oh, it's old news. Okay.
That was there like a month ago already, I think.
Okay.
Or at least the rumor, because it didn't struck me as.
So it again proves that timelines are never fixed, especially when it comes to governments and stuff like that. I mean, those timelines tend to be extended, not in days, but in months or years. So yeah, whatever.
What did you click on to get to the login screen, Tim?
I think it was in the release notes, and then
Quant Connect.
When you, something like that. Quant Connect.
No, I have to click on the tokenized APIs, I guess. Or no, that's
well, it's
hold on. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, well, it's somewhere out there. Let me have a look.
I found it. I'm looking to what extent I'll be doxed if I share this screen.
Oh, please don't dox yourself.
Yeah.
Interesting. The amount of concentration on the show. It's rare footage.
Yeah, but I think the tokenized platform is just the first implementation of QRC-20. I think that's my conclusion is that QRC-20 was introduced, but basically was sort of a white paper or a theoretical piece which explains how the token works, etc. And I think Tokenize is the first actual implementation to create those tokens. Maybe in the same way, and pardon the comparison with how Binance has a Binance smart chain where you can create all kinds of tokens with esoteric names. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
But this is for really serious people, I guess. So that's.
At the risk of needing to edit the video tonight. Here we go. Okay, so this is where I get after I've logged in. When I go to product overview, I'm getting the tokenize word, create secure digital tokens without writing a single line of code. Functionality, it's blockchain agnostic. One smart contract can be deployed across multiple chains. No code required. Configure and create your own token using Quant Connect. No coding required. Standardized REST APIs. Expose all the smart contract functionality for managing the newly deployed tokens as a simple REST/JSON API. Low cost. Use the API interface to build applications using existing in-house development teams. No need for expensive consultants. And feature-rich smart contracts. A variety of features and functions is built in at each contract level. Multiple token types available. Okay, let's see what we have here. Fungible tokens used to represent multiple individual but replaceable units such as currency, shares, or fractionalized assets like precious metals. Simple fungible, tier 1. The simplest set of functions available across our suite of configurable tokens. With this tier, you create or quote unquote mint all of your tokens at the point of smart contract launch and can then send, receive, request, debit, and approve a request from your wallet. This tier was designed as a basic payment solution where a finite amount of tokens is created. Once deployed, tokens can be distributed to users' wallets and then be used as a payment or redeemed for goods and services. Suggested use cases: finite supply, gift vouchers, loyalty points, equities, voting, digital currency modeling. We recommend tier 2 for use in live. Okay, so standard fungible tier 2 is a more advanced suite of functions is made available at this tier, building on those available in tier 1. Standard fungible tier 2 has the ability to permit a nominated wallet to mint, create additional volumes of tokens after the initial launch, infinite supply, and burn as needed as part of your use case. In addition, a secondary account owner can be nominated for each wallet holding these tokens, creating the equivalent of a joint account, where another user's wallet can send and authorize requests, debits, on behalf of the person holding the tokens. Secondary account owners can also be removed from a user's wallet at any time. The suggested use cases for an infinite supply are digital currency, clearing and settlement solutions, business or joint accounts, and multi-user payment flows from person to merchant, for instance. For fungible assets, example given, precious metals, tokenization, gift vouchers, loyalty points, and equities. What I missed, I can address it now. There are some benefits on the right column. They're secure, deploy smart contracts that are verified and secure, which is very rare in the crypto space. Easy, create digital tokens without the need for specialist DLT expertise. Fast, get to market faster and at lower cost. Flexible, deploy the same token across multiple blockchains with ease. Features: token creation takes less than a minute. Highly secure smart contract codebase, multiple feature combinations available, multiple use cases supported. There are a few prerequisites. One is MetaMask. This is needed to be able to deploy the new token. Currency: networks charge a fee for deploying tokens. Sadly, we do not control this. The amount of currency you will need will change depending on the blockchain you use. And completed identity verification if wishing to deploy into a production environment or main net. Okay, so this is cool. Is there anything, Tim or Nils, you guys want to shout on this? Oh, there's chat. Do you want me to open?
No,
I'm fine. I'm
no,
fine.
It's just some logistics behind the screen. It's fine. We're gossiping about you.
Yeah, I know.
No. I mean, it's really cool. I've never really looked behind the scenes of actually having seen a production environment of Quant. I'm always rambling about their leads, and I never engage with their actual products. But it looks so clean. It looks so nice and easy. I mean, this is easy to use,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Really complex stuff.
I'm gonna stop sharing for a bit because I haven't tried clicking on the plus. I'm gonna try that.
Sure.
And okay, yeah, I wanted to see if maybe some of my keys or stake or whatever was being shared. So when I clicked on the plus, I got this. So introduction, download MetaMask. I need to click. I have read, understood, and agreed. I'm gonna do that here. Let's see what happens then.
And let me know when you pause.
Select blockchain. Test. ETH main. Polygon main. Polygon Mumbai. Okay. Let's go for Polygon. Select type of token. QRC-20.
18K a year. Damn.
Okay, so a tier 1 QRC-20 token in Great British pounds. Create credit, approve debit, and create debit is 10K UK pounds a year. And I think that is excluding VAT. And tier 2, mint tokens, burn tokens, add account, and see full functionality list. Well, there's probably more, but that will cost you 18K a year.
And it is inclusive of VAT.
Yeah, what is of course interesting is that if you pay this, is this the actual pay in fiat Quant buys Quant tokens to make use of this, or?
I think so.
Yeah, that's my conclusion, I guess. So
yeah,
because if
that's interesting, huh?
Say again.
Well, I mean, the fee you have to pay here, for instance, the 18K per year you have to pay for tier 2 functionality. You pay that to Quant is, again, that the whole principle is that they're buying 18K of Quant tokens to secure those transactions over the Overledger network for that specific QRC-20 token.
Possibly.
Because that's the again that's very that's of course the elephant in the room, basically. I mean, QRC-20 is all nice, and of course I see the benefits from a point of view that you're using a mature platform to do this for any use case you may have. But for us, it's interesting to see how that cost in fiat is being arranged. So. Is that what actually happens?
Well, I think this is a prime example of buying in fiat and getting a service in return.
Yeah, that's what my conclusion is also. In the same vein that if you have as a customer a ledger or whatever, and you want to use the Overledger network, not for QRC-20 tokens, but for your own transactions from your ledger towards a blockchain or another ledger or whatever, that you also pay a license fee in fiat, which is being converted to Quant tokens. And those tokens are used for securing that transaction, which runs on your gateway. But maybe I'm taking
the only way to find out, does someone have 20K to YOLO?
You can throw it on.
I mean, there are some whales listening.
Dude,
I mean, 20.
Dude, look at the screen.
Yeah.
You're overthinking. You can just go to a testnet, Polygon, whatever. It's just free if you want to throw it on testnet. You can do whatever you want. But this is really cool. Let me click this back. This is a scoop, guys. Nobody has done it before. Let's see.
No,
but not
that's,
live on the show.
That's something, and that's where my knowledge of the whole developer part of Quant is lacking in this sense, is that it's an interesting question to find out if you are paying 9K or 18K to have a mainnet QRC-20 token or conversion, is that actually being paid for in Quant tokens? But yeah, maybe something to address in Council. I don't know if there's some really hardcore developers present there.
I don't know.
There must be.
I don't know. Okay, so I clicked on the manage token thingy, and then I'm gonna get this. I'm not gonna go through this. Go to the YouTube video. Leave us a like. Leave us a subscribe and all those beautiful things. Leave us a comment. Ask us a question. Send us a sloppy kiss. No, but read this for yourself, please. Let's see. Share Overledger platform. Okay, that's my dashboard. Good thing I stopped sharing the screen. That would have been bad. Yeah, okay, that is what we can access, what I can access for now.
Yeah.
Which is not nothing.
No. And let's get back a bit, because this is obviously really interesting stuff we will be trying out behind the scenes. Because Jarno is obviously afraid of doxing. That's completely understandable. But 18K for tier 2.
Tier 2 for
tier 2
Schnitzel wanting to create a token.
It's a tier. It's not a tier. Sorry, I'm tired. 18K. So that means that it will. The other one was 9K.
Yeah, that's for the most basic. Simply, I want to pay somebody tokens.
So if we complete that,
one account,
it will double.
If you
so
want,
you will pay probably in tier 4. You will probably pay more than 50K to do that.
Yeah.
And if our assumption is correct and that goes through the treasury needs to go and buy 50K worth of QNT to simply give a user access to tier 4 functionality of QRC-20.
Yeah.
And that is a simple created token functionality. Can you imagine how much money is going to be spent by companies needing a license for Overledger?
Imagine how many companies
this is insane.
Want to do all their in-house finances with a token, simply because it is quicker and cheaper than using fiat, especially across borders. So let's say you work for Tata, and you want to send money from the Netherlands an account to a Chinese Tata account or whatever. It's gonna take a fuck ton of time, gonna cost a fuck ton of money. But if you can do it with a tokenized QRC-20, you can choose any network you want. Let's say you use XDC, you have it in 2 seconds, and it will cost you 0, relative 0.
No.
Then you'll just earn 18K for a couple of 100 million transaction. You earn 18K in one transaction. And then you're cost neutral.
Yeah.
And you have it instantly. You don't have to wait 5 days, working days, mind you, for it to be there.
Yeah, this is really, really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think?
But let's
the LACChain you hate talking about. What do you think? The LACChain. Every country, every company there, every.
Nils.
No, I'm just thinking out loud. We have to falsify everything. We're now assuming. So basically, it sounds like it is indeed one of the use cases in which fiat is converted to Quant to have a function on the Overledger network. Also assuming that the QRC-20 tokens makes use of the Overledger network to basically bridge those tokens to other networks, which is an Overledger function in essence. I can see the reasons why it should be a separate chain or something, or that the fee you pay, that the fee you pay isn't used for buying Quant tokens, because the Quant token is so essential for the working of the Overledger network.
Mhm.
That it's hard to think it doesn't have a role in the whole QRC-20 stuff. But maybe
QRC-20 doesn't work without Overledger.
no.
Even if it's on XDC, then it still needs to be an MDApp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this tokenized thing does not work without the QNT token. Unironically,
No.
logically.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no doubt. Man.
So again, it's very
need a cold
interesting
shower.
to see how this all is being adapted the coming weeks, months, because I don't think a lot of companies will implement this in days, or maybe they do. I don't know. But it's very interesting to see how this all works out again. And let's see.
Ethereum mainnet has been there for a while, and I can imagine that since they essentially skipped testnet for us, mind you, for tier 3 and 4, that they have been wrestling with that behind the scenes, and they will most likely have used some of their most trusted clients, maybe SIA, because they have their own SIA net, or others to dry run. Maybe this is obviously speculation, ladies and gentlemen, but they have been testing this, and they have been testing this in the real world for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so
whatever.
too. Yeah.
But this
Whatever is behind it, it is really promising, and this is
Yeah.
one of the first instances that I can remember, at least from my active memory, that we actually see a Overledger functionality being charged a price, and that price is, it's not like 600, no, it's 18K.
No. I do not think that somebody in this basement is just simply gonna create another cum rocket QRC-20 for shits and giggles in the hope that it gets some traction.
No.
Well,
Of course, but even the cheapest form is 9K.
yeah,
9,000.
and now imagine that there's people thinking that the Federal Reserve will pay a license fee of £100. People thought that. No, but the license fee is only £100. How will they ever lock up QNT tokens?
This is for serious business, guys.
People are fucking idiots.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure, and we will follow this up as the story continues. And that brings me to the final point of the episode, I guess. And that is, I did actually reboot Instagram, and I did reboot questions, and the questions are here again. We're just gonna keep it brief, because, well, I did reboot the questions, and well, the quality is present. Let's put it that way.
This is lovely. The title of the video. The fee is going to be over 9,000.
Okay, some questions. Okay, so what happens first, guys? $10 or $100?
Oh.
Let's put a bet.
Yes.
What?
I think $100 is more realistic than $10.
What are we talking
happens
about?
first?
What are you talking about?
What happens first? $10 quant or $100 quant?
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
100, of course, at least. If we're gonna go to 10, no.
Okay. So yeah, we kind of addressed this.
How does Eddie Murphy say that? Get the fuck out of here.
Greg Greg has a question, and it reads: how important is the Overledger 2.29 update? Well, pretty important, Greg. As we just showed you, we do have more mainnet functionality, and it comes with a huge cost if you want to use it, which implies that the treasury needs to do some work, or you need to buy some QNT and feed it to the system, feed it to the machine. How come?
I missed the question. I was distracted. What was the question? Greg has a question, right?
Yeah. How important is the Overledger 2.29 update?
Yeah, it's fucking enormous. Just the tokenized feature alone is just brings a whole new level to speculation. It brings a whole new insight into how everything will work. I mean, we suspected that the gateways would become a little bit easier. But we have just seen how 3 freaking monkeys, or at least this monkey, can simply create a token.
Yeah.
You can just pick and choose, mix and match, and just go with it. You just paste in an address and it will be created for you. And then you
It's
can just
literally a drop-down menu. You could do it on your iPhone. You could literally have an app. Do it on your iPhone or your Android or your is Windows phone still?
yes.
You get it.
And-
You can do it on your smartphone. You could even do it on your Nokia, I guess, by sending them a
And
SMS text
if you
message.
compare XDC speed to Ethereum speed, because XDC mainnet is there, Ethereum
Yeah.
mainnet was there, that's like a 1000K upgrade. No, what 100x
Let's
faster.
not cut your quick maths. Another question. How
It's one.
come...
Shut the fuck up. It's 100x faster than Ethereum
Yeah,
XDC.
okay,
So
cool.
that's huge.
Yeah, it is.
Continue.
How come not many people talk about QNT? Are we that early? Yes, we are that early, right?
Soon everybody will talk about it.
Yeah, when the bull market continues, and then
But
some price
you-
predictions.
You
Let's
look
not go there.
you look skeptical, Nils.
No, I'm not skeptical in the sense that not with regard to the questions, because it's very interesting, especially the question about price. Are we going to reach 10 or 100? And then, if all speculation aside, but what you know about the holders of Quant, they're very loyal holders. So if you consider that price action is always supply and demand, and I mean, the only thing, if that remains stable, basically, so there's not a lot of volume and price remains stable, the only thing which can keep the price down is the whole connection with Bitcoin, basically. Yeah. So then you have to like calculate, if that's possible at all, what price level Bitcoin should drop to basically get Quant also in the realm of $10. I don't know. I haven't made that calculation if it's valid at all, but I think Bitcoin really has to go down very quick to do that. So I think $100 is more realistic than a 10. But again, I don't know any timelines. It's very. I mean, this is not. It's crypto. So yeah. The only thing you can say is that macroeconomic, and there's also a lot of liquidation going on with AC and other parties who seem to be interconnected to each other. That will have an effect. But the question is, will that effect also reach Quant? Because that's just a different ball game in the sense that, apart from the connection with Bitcoin. So
Yeah, for sure.
that's a bit of my skepticism in that sense, but it's not really skepticism. It's more sort of a humorous whisk to think, there's the question again. You know, it's
No one knows what's going on and how everything will unfold.
it's interesting, and maybe that's a bit of a sidetrack. But I got a tip from someone. He said you should listen to the Satoshi podcast. That's some of the Dutch guys do that. That's Satoshi Radio is the name. And it's really all about Bitcoin. So just, and I'm not really into Bitcoin, but it's interesting because they also deal with some more general crypto and economic stuff. And they say that a lot of Bitcoin miners nowadays, they have to sell some of their stash of their own Bitcoin to become to stay liquid and to stay profitable with regards to the whole mining operation.
Yeah.
So the market is
too.
not. Yeah, it's not healthy at this moment, basically, to be in this kind of asset.
Yeah, being a miner right now costs you money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you have to buy your reserve to stay profitable, to pay your energy bills and stuff like that. And that's of course an interesting thing again, but it also boils down to the whole macroeconomic situation right now.
Burn it.
Yeah.
Burn it.
Yeah.
Shortcut.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks
for
that analysis.
It is.
But we're gonna have a rule. Every time when someone says Bitcoin, he needs to do 10 push-ups on screen.
Yeah.
And proper ones. God damn it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm done. I think. Do you have more questions?
No, I do not. There were some price predictions as usual. Yeah, but let's summarize. I mean, at the beginning of the show, or at least off camera, I mean on camera, but off the record, I kind of said, well, it's kind of boring. No, I actually said it in this show 2 hours ago,
Yeah.
more than 2 hours ago. But everything is kind of boring, and then you said, no, it's not boring. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I kind of completely underestimated the impact that 2.29 has. And to add a bit of, well, probably wrong with this, but
You brought it back because you said, let's look at Tokenize. We almost didn't do that. So you saved that.
Okay, I don't know.
You're redeemed for your initial FUD.
Yeah, but it's still, it's 2.29. So would it go to a new number? I mean,
Yeah.
as in 2.3.
What will 2.3 be?
Yeah, or will it be 2.2? How does that work, Niels? Do you know?
It's every company has its own how do you say that version numbering system with regards to those kind of things. There might be some sort of standard. What you mostly see is that you have like major releases, minor releases, maintenance releases. And of course, if you go from 1.x to 2.x, that's a major release upgrade. If you go from 2.2 to 2.3 or something, it's mostly some major release, but not as big, which justify a big leap in version numbering. And then you have all kinds of incremental updates. But again, the difference between a 2.2 for one company can mean it's a 2.2.3 alpha release, blah. For instance, a company like Cisco Systems, they also produce software for their routers and switches. And I know when I was still dabbling more in that realm, basically, they had like version number like 12.2, and then between dashes 3, and then maintenance release 5. So it's really dependent on the company, except for like the major releases. It does introduce some new features. So I guess, and of course the whole gateway discussion is interesting because gateways right now are in use, but not for consumers, but they are in use. So
yeah, they're hosted by the company right now.
Yeah, exactly. What does the fact that gateways will be introduced to consumers like us also basically mean a new version number? I don't know. Maybe that's all. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if only we had the roadmap, or if only we had some sort of insight in, but we don't. So it's all speculation up until this point.
And that is completely fair. And we do know the company is developing at lightning speed, and whatever their priorities are, they do have them, and they might not align with our priorities, which is just making money and getting your millions, but it does align with the needs of their actual clients. So
yeah,
to
that's
circle that back to
somebody wrote, I think it was Bob or whatever his name is. Everybody's asking when gateways, and he wrote, but does anybody ever ask how the gateways feel? Gesundheit.
someone sneezed.
Yeah, that's my wife.
That's the feeling of gateways.
That's my wife in the background.
But
That's
how
a
do the
perfect
gateways feel? We can want gateways. Gateways have feelings too.
They have a mother too. That's also, yeah.
And on that bombshell, I want to thank all of our guests, all our listeners, or viewers.
Thank Nils.
No problem.
Well, all of our guests, I mean, Niels, thanks for joining. Sorry. Yeah, thanks. And all the people supporting us, be that graphically or giving us input. Thanks, guys. Without you, we can't really do the show. And,
Yeah. Love your
we'll see you.
engagement. There's an Ethereum address in case you feel like you have some QNT you want to get rid of. And we appreciate you guys. I will see you on the next one. Stay Quamfy.
Stay Quamfy. See you
Cheers.
next week.